Happy Friday. Welcome to Leadership Lunch Chat. I'm Jennifer Wilson, and I'm here with my good friend Amy Vetter, and we're a little late. Sorry. Maybe some Friday the 13th problems, ghosts in the machine. So we're super happy to be here to process leadership challenges, news, ideas, things that we're pondering or encountering in our work as leaders in the profession, and wonder if you might be encountering them too, and hope to sort of solve them together. So today we're going to talk a little bit about shifting our energy, our individual energy. We all bring sort of a vibe or energy. We get angry, we get sad, we get disappointed. We also can get excited. We can be, really happy about something or hopeful about something. There's all sorts of energy that we bring in our work. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how we could own our energy and ways that we can shift it. And then also ways that we can try to generate different energy in others. Perhaps we don't have to own their energy. And sometimes we have to just recognize I can't own that. The way someone else is feeling or being can make I could allow that to permeate me and make me feel bad. So we have to be careful about that. There's a lot of different angles we can take this. And Amy, I'm going to let you pick it up and take it wherever you want, and we'll go where the conversation takes us.
Yeah, so I've definitely encountered many people over the last few months. I think part of it being burnout, right? Like just so much work, and thought there would be a reprieve, and there really hasn't been a reprieve. And when we get to that point, a lot of times we start looking to the outside to figure out why we're feeling bad, rather than stepping back and really trying to assess what it is that is shifting our energy and what little things that we can do to shift our energy. So energy, by definition, means the ability to do work. And whatever that work may be. And that could be work at home, that could be work in relationships, that could be work in the office, but it all can affect you. And what I notice a lot of times is that people are not in tune with their own bodies, with their own feelings. Instead, we look for reasons outside of us of why we're feeling the way that we're feeling, and can blame our organizations, blame the profession, blame this or that, rather than really stepping back and trying to figure out what is causing that. And sometimes what can cause it is that we don't take that time to assess. Let's just use work as an example, that it's aligned with the things that drive energy for us. So you might have had these goals to keep getting promoted from title to title. I remember when I started my CAS practice, it wasn't called CAS at the time, but this is back in like 2001. I thought it was so exciting. I came from auditing, and then I was in the clients and totally, getting into the issues they were having, trying to solve their puzzles. And as my business grew, and as I got further and further away from the client, I realized my energy was different, because what my job ended up being was putting out fires, rather than really getting in the nitty gritty of like, how do I solve this? And if I'm actually driven with the energy of, I love seeing that result. I love seeing that my work matters more than the fee, more than what I'm getting paid. It's just that I actually made a direct result on that. And I'm now in a job that doesn't align with that anymore. That's where I've got to figure out how I'm going to still fill that cup and make sure that I'm still bringing energy, and where can I find that piece of me, that curiosity, that wanting to solve problems and get out of maintenance mode, or fire, putting out mode so that I can find that energy again to be excited about the work that I'm doing. And a lot of times when we step back and think about those things that create energy, then when we start looking at the work that we're doing, we can find like, oh, actually, if I focus more on this, I could find that again and reignite yourself.
There's so much there. Sorry, that was me being muted.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
I know we had sound problems earlier, so I know I just gave Amy a heart attack. Sorry, that was me. I said there's so much there in what you just said. And one thing I just want to have us all think about is like where you just were is the energy I get from my work and the energy I bring to it, right? Mm-hmm. And which is, to me, it's like sort of chicken or the egg a little bit. Like, mm-hmm. But I'm gonna pick up where you just were, which is this idea like there are things that I love doing, and if I have a job where I don't get to do the stuff I love, that doesn't work. That's not a long-term okay. That does not work. So, and we've just been talking about this a little bit at Convergence with some internal roles and thinking like, should we restructure this role? And if you restructure a role, do you restructure it around what the person really loves and is good at, ideally? Instead of like, oh, these things should just be grouped together because they're all marketing or they're all whatever, right? So, I've got to be in touch with what do I love, though? What does give me energy? And sometimes we just don't realize it. We don't feel the energy. We're feeling down and bored or kind of burnt out or not that excited to get in there, and we don't know why. And I would just say, like, start backing up and thinking, what do I love doing? When I'm most on my tiptoes, what is it that I'm doing with my work? What do I love and what do I not love? And of the things I don't love, how many of them are sort of necessary? Everybody does them in the place. I can't delegate them to anybody. So I just need to acknowledge I don't love them, but I need to make sure they're not a big piece of the job. Mm-hmm. We always use keep, stop, start. You and I've talked about it many, many times. That's a great way. Like, these are the things I really love doing. I want to keep them. These are the things I don't love. I've got to stop doing them. These are the things I'd like to start doing if I had more capacity. They're things I wish I could do that would give me energy. That's a really good framework for looking at how you're getting energy from the work. But I want to also back us up and have us think, wait a minute, what's the energy I'm bringing to the work? And that's another, that's like got 40 layers or something. One of them is like, how am I doing with my physical, mental, spiritual well-being over here? Like, what am I doing to feed it? Sometimes I think it's the work that's making me de-energized, but it's really like, I'm not sleeping enough. I'm not drinking enough water. I haven't been exercising like I should. My diet is off track. I'm not dealing with problems in my personal space that need to be cleaned up. And then I'm bringing that junk from the non-work into the work. And it makes it seem like, man, my work is not working for me right now. But it's really, it really is something like, I've got to look at my energy and how I'm responsible for it in the way that I'm feeding my mind, body, and spirit, and get back aligned there. And I think that sometimes we want to say, work is just really hard right now, or whatever it is, and we're not cleaning up stuff over here with the body and the mind, or stuff inside our personal space that's bugging us that we're not cleaning up. Keep, stop, starts that need to happen in our household. Keep, stop, starts that need to happen in our relationships, love relationships, friendships, all that stuff. And I think all those things affect the energy we bring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it really comes down to boundaries, right? So that you have the time to do those things that do fill your cup. And it could be going for a walk. It could be a hobby. I know for me, just recently this year, like, these things shift in our life, right? That what brought you energy maybe last year isn't something that's brings you energy this year. And it's good to have that awareness and understanding that you don't have to keep doing the same thing. Just because it worked one year, it doesn't necessarily work the next year. And this year, so I grew up playing violin, and violin was a very serious instrument for me. So I spent hours and hours practicing, auditions, symphonies that I was trying to get into. So violin wasn't fun to me, but I always had this dream of playing electric violin. It was like one of those things where I was like, if I could just play rock on this violin instead of classical music. So this year, it just was a happen chance, but I play bass guitar and I was playing a Guns N' Roses concert. And one of the songs in the concert was November Rain. And when I was listening to it, I was like, there's violins in this. I wonder if I could pull out my violin. And I'm talking, I have not pulled out a violin in 30 years, you know? And so I decided to do it. And I was like, I think I remember this. I think I can bring it back. And I have found joy in the violin again that I never thought I could, because it was not for fun. It was serious. And that I'm able to just have fun with it. It's giving me a whole different energy that, you know, even though I still love bass guitar and I get energy from playing, this kind of gave me another shot of energy again, of music, right? Because then I'm looking at what other music can I play that's violin music, and then ended up bumping into someone that had my exact same violin in a different band this weekend, and you know, got to see what she was doing with it. So it just starts sparking your curiosity again. And so if you're curious at work, usually you're curious in your personal life too.
Yes.
And you're a learner, and it's finding those things to keep bringing that spark to yourself so that you can find those pieces of joy in your life. And it's sometimes just not a big thing.
Right. And so that's interesting, because I know we've talked about it before, but when my mom passed in June of 2022, I lost my run joy.
Right.
And you know, like, I didn't want to lose my run joy because I loved running, but I did not love it anymore. I kept trying to be like, I was so disappointed in myself for losing my run joy and not understanding it. And I tried a lot of different things, like a ton of running, no running, you know, like different kinds of running, you know, all sorts of stuff to try to find it. And then I just sort of let it be.
Right.
You know, I
Not
ran
putting
when
pressure
I
on
felt,
it.
well, I ran when I felt like it.
Right.
So I literally allowed myself to just like not run. I did a bunch of other stuff. I started doing hot yoga sculpt, and I started, you know, getting more serious about vinyasa, and I did bar, and, you know, a whole bunch of other junk that I tried. Hiking. Of course, I'd been hiking, but just, I stopped like making myself run. And I also just processed the grief, walked in the grief, which I've been doing. You know, you don't actually get to shed that entirely, but it's better today than it was 2 years ago. And so, you know, slowly I have been more motivated to run, you know, and more interested in hanging out with, you know, people that are going to run and signing up for, I kept racing, by the way. That's the other nutty thing, is I signed up for all the races I've always done, but then I wasn't trained for them. So, you know, and that was nuts too, but I still did them, you know, and I allowed myself to be okay that I wasn't as awesome as I was the year before, you know, but which was an interesting practice in like, how fit am I, you know, and I don't know. But so like now I did some races this year that I had fun prepping for, and I am now preparing and running long, getting ready for a relay that's coming up. I ran 10 miles Wednesday morning with some girlfriends, and I'm appreciating my body's ability to layer on these additional miles, and I'm getting some run joy, you know, I'm bringing that energy to that. Then I had to recognize I no longer had the mojo for it, and that wasn't bad. It was okay to let it go. and not, not say I quit forever, but also not say I'm going to force this.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I think that's a perfect way to explore that energy and acknowledge it. When you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And there's things you could try or change or stop doing or start doing to get it again, or to get new energy in different areas. I love that you're playing the violin again.
Yeah,
I
me too.
love it. And forming your team, your new band. And I saw the picture of the post of your new band, and I didn't get a chance to say this, but I'll say it here in public. You look amazing in that picture, and the light radiating off of you. Really, everybody. Like, you can
Yeah,
tell
we're
everybody in
having
there's
fun.
getting
Yeah.
rock joy.
Yeah, rock joy,
You can
that's it.
see
Yeah.
it. It
Yeah.
is so, it's like awesome. I just love it. I want to frame that picture of you. I'm serious. That's like, you look as good as I've ever seen you. And so
Aw.
that's an example, though, of finding it and being
Mhm.
okay that some of the stuff we do and have done, and some of the
Not
relationships we've
gonna be
had,
perfect. Yeah.
they can go too. They're
Mhm.
not serving us anymore.
Yeah.
We can focus elsewhere and find it again.
Yeah.
Love it. Well,
Awesome.
if you guys would let us know what else you want to talk about or process at Leadership Lunch Chat, Amy and I love to do it. And we love to see you Fridays at noon Eastern. And we try really to start on time. But today we're going to end right here, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Amy.
Bye-bye.